In previous parts of this series of talks on sexual abuse, I explained how victims can often have problems in interpersonal relationships during their teenage or young adult years and beyond. In this talk, I want to explain more about this because, as I explained, these victims of sexual abuse were introduced to sexual activities at a much earlier stage in their personal development than typical experience for most people. Sexual abuse might not have progressed to a mature sexual response when they lost their innocence, but pleasant feelings associated with their genitals during those early sexual encounters become a source of fascination for them, and then they often reproduce those physical sensations on their own. And subsequent experiments with their genitals usually lead to what should be properly called premature sexual development. This means that victims of sexual abuse soon learn how to masturbate and fully satisfy their biologically innate desire without knowing what their sexual desire and impulses are all about. Sexual desire then becomes unconsciously associated with their genitals as a natural progression, which can be called narcissistic sexual expression. In other words, people who were seduced at an early age often become erotically attracted to their own bodies in the same way that older males are attracted to the female body. The reason is that they had not yet been educated and socialized by parents and peers into expecting and imagining normal, mature sexual expression of their sexual desires with another person. Instead of developing heterosexual fantasies typical of teenagers and young adults, they become sexual narcissists, focused on themselves and the erotic parts of their bodies as an egocentric expression of their sexual desire. Now, sexual narcissists are not obvious to others, but they often become addicted to pornography, and their egocentric attraction to themselves, or to pornography, detracts from mature, intimate heterosexual relationships, which is the norm during teens and early adult years. Alternatively, some teenagers who were seduced at an early age become sexually permissive when their body starts producing more of the hormones which increase sexual desire and arousal. Both personality traits have much in common with sex addiction, and therefore are often an important part of a self-development program to confront and eliminate those habits. This book, How to Cure Addiction to Sex and Pornography, a practical manual, is an important part of a program for someone who has been sexually abused and experiences one of these two conditions, the narcissistic sexual tendency and sex addiction, typically with pornography. And so I will put a link below with details of this specific practical manual for those who want to improve their own condition and want to become in control of themselves and get over the past and the way it has influenced their current way of reacting to sexual stimuli, and also as a practical manual for therapists who are working with victims of sexual abuse. So I will leave details of this book, which is available on Amazon both in Kindle and paperback version.